Hey guys, Clone Guy here, and well, World of Tanks Mercenaries developers just posted a video, and we're going to be checking it out. The 6-year developer interviews, and we're going to be checking this out and seeing what is being spoken of, seeing if World of Tanks Operation Overhaul is being heard. Anyway, let's just see what kind of stuff they have here, shall we? Turn this up, get it full screen. Let's go. What do they got for us?
Hey Tankers, happy 6-year anniversary. Jeff Gregg here, lead designer on World of Tanks Mercenaries. Wanted to talk to you all a little bit about the last 6 years and some cool stuff we have coming up. So one question we get a lot is new maps. Where the heck are they?
All the time.
I want them in the game and I want them.
That is something I get a lot on Operation Overhaul. People are like, I don't know why you're asking for them to, fix bugs and rebalance tanks. We need new maps in the game. And it's like, well, they should fix what's here and now first. But new maps would be cool too, as long as they're good, not like Icebound or Nominal.
Now,
those crud maps.
I want to take a moment before I answer that and acknowledge that question or statement. Is that we have a lot of maps in the game. In the last 6 years of creating and modifying and changing and growing the maps, be it their balance and position and location, or be it adding weather variants, or be it up-resing them for when the Xbox One and the PS4 Pro came online. That's been really fun and really exciting times. In this year, we are working on at least 2 new maps. The first one, the community map, which on purpose right now does not have a name other than community map, is something we're actively working on, and I hope you
hopefully
feel like
it's not 1200 by
1200.
1200.
I can't tell
That's
you
all
when
I
the
ask.
next time we'll talk about it is, or even the first time you'll play it in the build, but it's something we're this close on and I'm super excited about, and I can't wait to see what that evolves to become, because it's super exciting even where it is right now, and I know it can be better. I know you guys got a lot of great ideas. The second map, called Kunis, or Kunas, I mispronounce it every time, that's my fault, that's not the map's fault, it's not your fault, is another map that we are very, very close to having in a retail state or shape so that you can all play it. Can't tell you when. I can tell you it's closer than the community map because it's had a little more time to cook. We specifically made this one. It's a summer map so that it can work in all of our game modes, whether it's random battle, team training, tank commander, etc. And it is designed to have a nice mix of
If it's going to be a
open
tank
terrain
commander
areas where you
map,
can haul down if that's
hopefully
your
that
jam,
means it
or
won't be
snipe over long
1200 by
distances, or
1200.
provide supporting fire with your artillery, as well as some other like closer quarter hills and buildings so that you can scoot and shoot or do any of those kind of mechanics if that's the thing you like to do. I find a lot of times when I'm playing it, I tend to lean to either a tank destroyer and cover one of the flanks that's near a farm that you'll recognize when you see this map. It's super exciting. Or go with a medium and Wolfpack with a platoon and head to some of the city environments. I'm purposely talking about things that you can't visualize in your head so that when you see it, you're excited and have something to look forward to. That's 2 maps out of gosh knows how many we're going to develop, and I hope that's good news. One question we get a lot is, are there new tank
but things
lines?
need to be
Are
fixed
there new
too.
tech tree vehicles coming to the game? There are a lot of really cool premium tanks, and people love those. What about the tanks we can grind, and where will those live? Yes, there will be new tech tree tanks coming soon. We're working on them right now. One of my favorite, and also really fresh in my memory because I just looked at them moments before this video, are a new Swedish medium line. Some of those have the new pneumatic suspension system, which is similar.
Now, he just said some of them have the new pneumatic suspension system. And if I remember correctly, on PC, there are 3. All right, it's the tier 8, the tier 9, and the tier 10, and all of them, all of them have the pneumatic suspension. So does that mean we're gonna get more to that line than those 3? Because he said some of them, not all of them. But it might have just been a mistake on his end. I think there's still only gonna be 3. But will there be a full new line from the Swedish tanks if only some of them have the pneumatic? Maybe the tier 8 won't have the pneumatic suspension. I don't know.
But not identical to the siege mode mechanics you get on the Swedish tank destroyers. It allows for a lot more flexibility in terms of aiming and hull positioning when you're fighting, as well as the speed that you expect from a medium when you want to get from A to B or a wolf pack against the foe of your choice. Say you're platooning with a bunch of these vehicles. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to seeing the response on those, and they were cool to work on. Crossplay, PSN, Xbox Live. When are they going to play together? I can tell you right now that that's being worked on as I'm chatting with you, as this is being recorded, probably as you're watching it, depending on when you're watching this video. Getting PSN and XBL to talk to each other, working out how the accounts interact, making sure that there's no collisions on account IDs or any of that stuff, making sure the platoons work so that you can invite through any of your World of Tanks friends. Doesn't matter.
So it sounds like he's mentioned World of Tanks friends. Looks like there's going to be a separate friends list in your World of Tanks tab. Is how they're going to make this work. Because obviously you can't friend somebody who's on the PlayStation with your Xbox, right? But this is probably one of the biggest things they can do to save this game is introduce crossplay. Crossplay, +1, -1, and then looking at your old vehicles is probably the 3 biggest things they can do to fix this game. And the game will be good again. Of course, there's a lot of bugs, but I think those will get hammered out eventually. Of course, they're pretty annoying right now.
No matter where they live, put them in your platoon and go. It's something that we're working on right now. The current plan is your account can fight anybody in World of Tanks, regardless of what piece of hardware they're playing, as long as they're currently playing World of Tanks Mercenaries on their Xbox One X or S or regular or PS4 or PS4 Pro. But your account itself will not be transferable. You will see them on the battlefield, but it's not like you can pick up your PS4 controller and your tanks and your roster will be exactly like you left it on your Xbox One. There will be cross-play,
that's obvious,
but not
because
because
when you spend money on this game, part of that money, if you're on Xbox, goes to Xbox Live. If you're on PlayStation, part of that money goes to Sony. So obviously, you can't buy things on Xbox and then just have it all on Sony. That wouldn't make any sense, because then Sony won't have gotten any money and they'll have just given you free stuff.
Account parity, if that makes sense. But still, that'll be a lot more tanks to platoon with and to destroy, and it'll be super cool as soon as we get that out there. The next thing I want to talk about,
awesome.
and the next question that we get a lot, is tank balance. Now, balance and tank balance is something that I suspect not only have I been working on with the designers and the entire staff of Wargaming for the last 6 years, it's something that we'll be working on forever. It is important. It should never go away as a topic of conversation, and it is always something that's going to need upkeep and love. Now, we're looking at all of our vehicles like we always do, and how they're performing within the ecosystem, how they change in their active use, and how they change in their efficacy every time a new vehicle or a new map is added to the field. This year, we're taking a really deep look in basically everything, cross-slicing by which vehicles it can play, whichever this it we're talking about is, right? Which vehicle we're looking at, and the general health of the balance of the game as a whole as it relates to tanks, whether it's a premium tank, whether it's a tech tree tank, wherever it lives, if it can fight another human in that.
Now, he specifically said premium tank this time around, so I think that probably has something to do with Operation Overhaul, because of our push on, hey, old premium tanks need some rebalance. So I appreciate that, and it looks like Operation Overhaul, even though they're not going to mention it or not give any credit to Operation Overhaul, we are having an impact, which is good news. Good job, guys. That's a big thing right there.
That vehicle, we're going to take a look at it. As I've said before, and if you're interested, there is a tank balance video on how we do this. We start with the general and get down to the specific. And we do a lot of stuff that's based on not only how the vehicle is performing in general or on average or median, but also based on the skill set of the player base who's using it. We pay attention if a vehicle is attracting pros, if people who usually win 60 to 70% of the time, those are rare, but those people do exist. Are they the ones that are using this vehicle more? Or is this vehicle more being used by the people that don't have as much skill but really enjoy the game? That influences how we change, or if we change these systems.
He says that, and yet, why did the AMX-30B get nerfed? Like, that was already worse than the Leopard 1 in pretty much every regard, and it was mostly played by pros, so why did it get nerfed? So this whole nerfing thing's based on, if pros are playing it, then it's less likely to get nerfed, because the general players aren't playing it so much. That doesn't make any sense to me, because, as I said, why on earth did the 30B get nerfed? Why did the K91 get nerfed? Why did the E50M get nerfed? All these questions are a little bit interesting. So I think this isn't true. Otherwise, those would not have been nerfed.
Who are they fighting against? What's their battle tier? Has the +1, -1 matchmaking improved or hurt the health of the balance of a certain ecosystem? Has the RNG tests we've run, have those improved or hurt the balance of a vehicle? And as for all of you hardcore players, when we do both of those at the same time, what does that do? How does it cross compare when it's using ranked battle systems versus random battle systems? Does it perform different in proving grounds? Probably, because it's usually 1 or 2 humans fighting a lot of AI. Is it in line with how that tank is expected to function? These are all things we're working on. Now, if I were you and I was watching this, I might even be screaming at my monitor, what about Tank X, this specific tank that we
What about the
talk
K91?
all
There
the
you go.
time,
That
or is never talked about, and that really makes me angry. I'm going to thank you for bringing
Doesn't make
that
me
up
angry.
and having that kind of passion, and ask you, like I always do and like we always do, to realize that we do look at all of these tanks, whether it's the ones that are being talked about quite loudly or ones that are just kind of...
Right now, at this point in World of Tanks Mercenaries, I'm hoping for this huge, I'm going to say overhaul of tanks. I don't care if they all get changed, and a ton of them get nerfed that shouldn't be nerfed, and a ton of them get buffed, and all this other stuff. I wouldn't mind a huge change, because as it stands, there's a huge split in the tanks right now, where half the tanks are really, really good, and half of them are just garbage. There's a huge just gap, and it's ridiculous. So at this point, if every tank just got changed, I think that would be good for the ecosystem, even if that meant you have to relearn everything, even if that meant one of your favorite tanks is no longer as good as it is before. I think something like that would be good for the game, is just this massive change to tanks, because at tier 9 we have rank battles coming up. I guarantee it's going to be infested by conquerors. I think that's going to be the dominating tank, or conquerors, T54s, E75s, and not many people are going to be playing tanks like the Type 4 Heavy, which I don't care about that one so much, or the 5120, nobody's going to be playing that, or the T54 U1, nobody's going to be playing that in the ranked battles. Yeah, so there's this huge split in tier 10 especially. You have the W7115A, which is fantastic, and then you have the Object 277, which isn't. Then you have tanks like the 140, which is fantastic, and then you have the K91, which isn't. And so a huge rebalance would be amazing in this game, and I think it's needed, because they had a huge rebalance 2 years ago, which was awful, and kind of, like I said, severed 2 halves. It severed the game in half. So doing that again would be good. Doing it before wasn't, so it wasn't needed back then, and it's certainly needed
Flipping
now.
under the radar, so to speak, pretty regularly. We look at all of these statistics, and that is probably going to result in some action items this year as we see what needs to change. Another thing I'll talk about with that is changing the balance of the vehicles doesn't always mean changing the vehicle. Case in point, +1, -1 matchmaking. That's not literally changing a specific vehicle.
He's right, but it does buff a tank. The Tiger 2 was amazing in +1, -1. King Dragon was amazing in +1,
But it
-1.
impacts every single vehicle, right? Like if you are no longer fighting these tiers or these tiers, and we've squished it metaphorically, you're going to perform differently. Better, worse, depends. We have to take a look at that too. We need to find the right solutions and do this right, and keep the game in the good space it is, and hopefully make it better. I hope that that is enough to give you faith and know that this is not something that I'm not going to talk about, that we're not looking at. We are looking at, we are talking about it, and I'm happy to provide more as details emerge. And thanks for all the feedback you guys have always given. The respectful, healthy feedback that we get moves the needle. It really does. So thank you very much, and more news on that soon, I'm hoping. So one of the things that we love working on, that we've done various different versions of, is our event modes. There's the classic, there's the lunar, which has been on the moon. It has been on Mars. It's even been on the planet Earth in a Proving Grounds map. There's the
That was a little bit obnoxious.
There's Halloween mode,
That was
which,
awesome.
man, we lust for.
That's the
every year.
best.
I love working on
Yes.
Halloween mode. It's so much fun. April Fool's
It is.
right around the corner from when this video is being filmed. I'm hoping you're watching this in February because it's the 6-year anniversary and you're like, oh my God, what are they going to talk about? This April Fool's, I have been sworn to secrecy by my boss, but the things I will leak to you is it is a mode that none of you have ever played before. You have seen some of the elements of this April Fool's mode.
Okay, so right then and there, he says it's something we've never seen before, but in it we're going to have things that we've seen before. And so that tells me we're going to have respawning, and we're going to have a fully destructible environment, so all the buildings can fall, kind of like in the mech mode. So I think it's going to be very much like that. I think the mech mode, they're going to bring that back, even though it's not going to be the mech mode exactly. But they're going to bring back the respawning feature and the fully destructible environment feature, which would be quite fun.
I'm not going to tell you which. And when you first play this mode, or even when you see the vehicle that we're going to give you in the garage, you're going to A, say, I've never seen this in my garage, and B, I'm hoping, I'm almost guaranteeing, but the second I say I guarantee it, someone's going to post saying this isn't my reaction, he's a liar. for that I apologize. You're going to say, oh, this is going to be awesome. When we first
Modern tanks. I think they're gonna bring something back. About 4 or 5 years ago, was it? Yeah, 5 years ago, they posted, Wargaming posted an April Fool's video about Tier 11 tanks coming out, and it's gonna have the Leopard 2, the Abrams, the Challenger, and I think the T-72. And so it was like, oh, look at this. This is going to be really fun and really cool for April Fools. And then it never happened because it was an April Fool's prank. And people thought it was real. And it was hilarious. I bet you they bring that back. So I'm predicting, quote-unquote, Tier 11 tanks. And by that, I mean modern tanks. That's why it's going to be awesome. Because he says when you see him, they're like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And I think the only thing that would make everybody think this is awesome is modern tanks. So I think it's going to be modern tanks, which would be awesome. And I think it's going to be fully destructible, like the mech mode, and I think there's going to be respawning like they've been doing in the mech mode and in the monster mode. So that's what I think is going to be happening.
First played it, we made absolutely sure not to educate any of the non-designers on what it could do. The reason we did that is you're not going to have designers living next to you when you're home on your couch or wherever you play World of Tanks Mercenaries.
Maybe multiple guns?
And you go into the battlefield. We're not going to be there for that kind of experience. We just hoped that this really eclectic, awesome April Fool's mode was intuitive and started generating this excitement and fun and repeat play. And I think we nailed it. So what's like a common defining factor of like every vehicle that's in the game right now? Treads.
Tracks,
What's
gun.
Something that a lot of people have been
turret.
talking about that they'd love to see
geez.
in World of Tanks Mercenaries.
Oh no.
Wheeled vehicles. Are we working on wheeled vehicles for World of Tanks Mercenaries?
Wheeled vehicles are going to be so bad for the 360 players. I apologize for you. You're going to have a tough time hitting those if they come out like they are on PC. Because hitting a T100 is hard enough.
Yes, yes we are. We're working on it right now.
Good luck.
We're working on which line it should launch with first. How do we do the controls on an analog stick? How do we make it fun? How do we make it fit within the ecosystem that we provided on World of Tanks Mercenaries? What lessons and inspirations and benefits can we learn and implement from World of Tanks PC? All these things are being worked on right now and will be in the game, I'm hoping sooner rather than later, but will be done right versus done fast.
I'm guessing next year.
So,
done right versus done fast. I wish that was the case with Update 4.12. I'm just saying. I feel like that one was rushed. Update 4.12 is the worst update to ever hit this game. It wasn't done right. It was done fast. So, again, don't know why you would say something that's not true.
Yeah, next year when we're doing the 7th year anniversary video, I won't be able to start any segment with what is common treads. I'm really hoping in a year from now it'll be like treads and wheels. Something to look forward to. Matchmaking. We love it. Why even beat around the bush? Let's just start it with the word. It's almost as a hot topic as vehicle balance and vehicle tuning. The matchmaker always puts me on the green team, which loses, and the red team always wins. How do I get on the red team? The matchmaker has put
I hear that so many
15
times.
Arties versus 15 lights. I'm going to flip my desk
That
and
never
blow
happens.
up my console. Matchmaker gave me the perfect game. I love this game, says some people, but I never see that on the forums. We are definitely looking at the matchmaker. We are looking at everything from like how platoons influence the matchmaker, when it decides these players are going to be in a 30-player match, how do I divvy up the teams? How do I distribute the classes amongst those teams? We're looking at different ways.
Classes, I don't mind so much. I think how classes should work is there should always be the same number of as lights on one team as there are on the other team. I also think artillery should be the same way. If there's 2 on one team, there should be 2 on the other. All the other classes, I don't mind so much. I really like the diversity. I do not like template matchmaking, because then it's going to be like an AMX 50B versus a 57 Heavy. 57 Heavy is going to win most of the time. It matches tanks against each other that are like each other. And then you're going to have 277 on one team and then W711 5A on the other team. And the 5A clearly is better than the 277. And so I don't really like that. And plus you only need to fight your opposite number. There's not so much variety in the game anymore. You always know about what you're going to fight when you enter a game. And the game will become stale, and that's what happened on PC for me when they introduced that, which they've kind of taken away, which is nice. But they introduced that a couple years ago on PC, right as I was getting back into PC. And I'm like, nope, I'm done, and I quit PC again. So I don't think that'll be good for the game, personally.
Ways to assemble those teams? Is it purely class and modules? Is skill viable for the way our game works within the population that's in there? All of that stuff's being considered.
I don't think skill is needed, skill-based matchmaking. I think a lot of people are like, oh, there needs to be skill-based matchmaking. I don't think there's enough players for that. I don't think there's enough good players for that. Maybe there is. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think the best way to do it would be to make sure platoons are even when they go up against each other. Make sure there's the same amount of top tiers on each team. I think the tier spread should be the same. I think the platoon spread should be the same. And like I said, light tanks need to be the same. Artillery needs to be the same. All right, that needs to be a thing that happens. +1, -1 would help out a whole lot as well. That way, when you're bottom tier, you're only one tier down, you can actually have an impact in the game rather than being a stock Tiger 2 fighting against a mouse, right? So that would help too. So I think +1, -1 would be a great way to fix this, along with same tier spread. Same tier spread.
Considered right now. And if, man, you want to talk about something that's even more important to get right out of the gate than vehicle balance, it's Matchmaker. One of the things that I don't think we've ever done, but as an example, is let's say we introduced a completely OP, ridiculous tank into the ecosystem. Let's say its armor was infinitely thick. Every time you pulled the trigger, someone on the enemy team died, even if you were pointing the gun into the ground, and just having the vehicle on the battlefield meant your team won. Let's say that vehicle existed. We could remove
Absolution. Panzer 5-4.
move that vehicle,
Yeah,
mass invoice everybody who acquired it, and say, well, that vehicle needs more love. If the matchmaker always makes the red team win regardless, which is weird because there's always a red team, and it's always not the team you're on, but bear with me with this analogy. We can't just pull the matchmaker and say, let's work on it a little more. It's the thing that keeps all of us fighting each other and fighting with each other, right? So we're gonna do this one slow and correct and test things we might do.
Slow and correct. I mean, they've been testing +1, -1 since June of last year, so it's been a long time. I don't know why they haven't just introduced it. That's really something they should do. When they introduce crossplay, they should introduce +1, -1 with it. They should also introduce same tier platoon matchmaking. Okay, that also needs to happen. I think the pool of players will be big enough for all three of those things. Put them together and the game would be fantastic.
Do things that we found that might be advantageous, like +1, -1, and there might be an event for that, so that we can measure the before and the after and the delta, cross-compare with the community. How many people actually played that? What is their response? What are you saying on the forums? Some of the stuff might be something we can take like that and do as a isolated, siloed thing. Other parts of the matchmaker, it doesn't work that way. It's either this way, holistically, everything, or this way, holistically, everything. Maybe there's a way to A/B test that, where some are using Matchmaker A, some people are using Matchmaker B. We need to evaluate that too. And before we even know if we can.
And right now, I don't think that's doable. The player base isn't big enough to do that. But once they introduce crossplay, they might be able to do that. They have 2 servers on the NA server. And one of them is +1, -1. One of them is +2, -2. And just see where the players flock, where they go. And it shouldn't be an automatic sign up where you just click play and it puts you in one. If you click play on the game, when you're first logging in, it should pop up immediately. Where do you want to connect to? +1, -1, or +2, -2. None of this automatic assignment here. You have to choose. That way the player is choosing and it's not choosing for them, and they can't just say, oh, more people play +2, -2. Well, maybe more people didn't realize that there was a choice. So when they click play, it should tell you to choose, and that would get a fair assessment.
Do an A/B. What is A and what is B? What are we testing? Let's make sure we're making it better. All that's being worked on. Now that one, it will be worked on, and I will absolutely never get anywhere near guaranteeing even a blast radius of when improvements will be committed into the retail version of the game, because we got to get that one right. What's in there now absolutely needs to be better, can be better. That's true. We will not make it worse. We will take the time to make it better. We will not make something different just assuming that means it's better. So it's been 6 years that we've been playing on the console, and one of the things that I really, really value, and I think we all value, is the community. The community of players, tankers, that have been playing together, playing with each other, playing against each other for such a long time. All of the new members, it's really exciting. One of the primary ways that this community can interact and form bonds is the clan system. It allows you to identify as a group. We are clan Watt, we are clan whatever your name is, whatever your tag is. There's some cool clans out there. And one of the things that we've been discussing as a development team, as a publishing team, as just Wargaming employees is, I don't think what we got is good enough. We can make it better for clans. Clans deserve a lot more. Clans are actively telling us, we love your game enough to self-identify it as a group in your game that wants a special tag in front of all of our gamer tag handles, that actively recruits in some cases, and plays to win, plays to be known, plays to be renowned, plays just because socially we like each other and we like to play with each other, and it's an easy way to identify and find each other. What else can we do to incentivize clans, get more clans on the battlefield, and take everyone who is currently in a clan and say, thank you, this is what being in a clan means to us and means to you. More than just the gamer tag, more than just someone has applied for a membership on your clan, more than just social media interaction.
I know a lot of people want to see something like more clan wars and more competitive stuff like that. But personally, for me, my experience with the competitive on Xbox is competitive teams are toxic, insanely toxic, and so I've quit competitive, probably for good in this game, because it's just not a fun environment to be around. So, hey, whoever just subscribed, thanks for subscribing. So that's something I think needs to be... I don't know how they would look at that. Maybe there needs to be some kind of punishment for toxicity or something. I don't know. But regardless, I don't have anything to say about clans personally. I think the only reason I would join a clan is to be with my friends, and it's fun. And yeah, align yourself with a tag. But for competitive play, no, I wouldn't join a clan for that, because it's not fun.
What could that
anymore.
be? I don't know. This conversations need to be in depth, need to be carefully analyzed, need your feedback. Like, what do you expect out of a clan that you're not getting? What do you expect out of a clan that you're currently getting that you would rage if it was removed? All that kind of stuff needs to be looked at, considered, and implemented better. So that is another part of 2020 that is something you can look forward to.
How about one weekend a month? It's like ranked battles, but with clans. And you queue up with 5 guys who are all in the same clan, and you get put into this like ranked battles kind of a game, 5 versus 5, your clan versus another random clan. I think that would be really fun, and have it like ranked battles, but with more incentive to play, more rewards, maybe a higher silver bonus, maybe some gold for winning, maybe a premium tank at the end of each tournament. They'll have a tournament each month for one weekend, something like that. I think would be good. And I think the games, that would also keep it less toxic as well, because you're not directly communicating with the players. Because right now, how you communicate with the current setup is Wednesday night fights or the World of Tanks community Discord, and you're talking back and forth directly there, and it gets really toxic. So I think something like this, where it's like one weekend a month, there's a ranked battles, a clan ranked battles. I think that would be really cool. And that's something I would personally want to be a part of. And you just platoon up with 5 guys in your clan. You click A and you get launched into a clan battle. And you find a clan and boom, you get to go up against them. I think that would be really cool, and I think people would start forming more clans. And I think that would really help the game, because once you've aligned yourself to a clan, you feel a little bit more of this dedication to the game.
And hopefully either make your clan stronger and cooler, or make you want to join or even create a clan. So that's something I hope you hear more about really soon. I love that we've been around for 6 years, and then this video, which is exactly what I would expect if I was a tanker like you, is all about the future. And I think the fact that we've been around for so long, for 6 years, 6 years is so long, honestly, for me. It's really cool to be working on a game for that long. And be able to say, not only that, the future is going to have all these cool things is just super exciting. Thank you very much for watching. Keep in mind that all the cool stuff I've been talking about, I want to be very clear. There's no date I can tell you, because again, we want everything in correct versus quick. And as soon as there is a date, you'll hear about it. You might not hear about it from me. You might hear about it from our website or multiple different venues. Your friend, I don't know. But you aren't hearing the date right here. I just want to be clear about that. And it is also worth saying that does not mean we are not working on it. We all really do appreciate you playing, watching this video, giving the feedback. I'm hoping like below you right now, there's like feedback, and wherever you're looking at this video and you're like, but what about thing, or I want to contact so-and-so about this, or thanks, or boo because I want blah. Keep all that coming. We ingest it all. We love all the feedback that's done respectfully and healthfully, and I'll see you on the battlefield.
So that video, if you really think about it, didn't really... There we go. Let me make sure I'm not muted. Okay, didn't really tell us much. We already knew they were going to do something with matchmaking. Obviously, they want to fix something there. We already knew they were working on crossplay. We already knew, obviously, they were going to introduce new tanks eventually. We already knew they were going to introduce new maps eventually. We already knew they were going to rebalance tanks eventually. And so the fact that there were no dates given, really, we didn't really learn much from that. But it's nice to see a video from them, see them actually talking to us. And that I really appreciate, because that's something they haven't been doing lately, is talking to us as a community. So that's nice of them to actually make. Is there good news in this? Yeah, I'd say there's good news, because it just confirms. It's like when you're sick and you have some kind of undiagnosed disease and you know it's there and you have it and there's nothing you can do about it. You know it's there, but you want the diagnosis, and you're just not getting the diagnosis, and you've had it for 2 years, whatever it is, and the doctors just can't diagnose you. And finally, they diagnose you, and they're like, we know what it is, here it is. We can't do anything about it, but now you know what it is. That's kind of like what this is just knowing is nice, is a nice thing to have. But there we go, there's the reaction video. Is there good news in here? Yeah, I'd say there's some good news. It's obviously not perfect. Like I would have liked to hear some dates. I'd like to know what tanks they're going to change. But we have update 4.13 coming later this month, and I have a feeling that's going to be a balance update and hopefully some bug fixes that we have had. And then I think Operation Overhaul from then on will be mostly a success, because he specifically mentioned the rebalance of premium tanks, and I think that had to do with Operation Overhaul. He mentioned +1, -1. Again, I think we've been doing a good job with Operation Overhaul, guys. So good job there, guys. Will they stop the reskins? They didn't mention that. I doubt it. But if they focus on rebalancing other premium tanks, I think that will really help. And yeah, I think that's something we need. So thanks, guys, for watching. I hope you guys all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts on the matter. As you can see, this video is doing a lot better than their more previous ones. So that's pretty nice. You can't actually see the video. I just realized because I'm doing the face cam. Oh, nor can you see it here. Here it is. It's doing a lot better this time around. So yeah, there's that. Alright. That's going to be it. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Make sure you slap that like button. Comment on this video. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you guys all later. Take care, everyone. And peace out.